A very warm good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to Season of Agents, a virtual event dedicated to exploring the dynamic world of intelligent agents, automation, and the future of AI powered productivity. Today, I have joined by Shlok Bhardwaj, who is an intern at Mishka Productions and who will be taking us on this journey of Azure AI agents. Handing over the session to you, Shlok, you can carry on.
Great. Thank you so much, Sudhanshu. Let's move on. So, is my screen visible? Okay. Is my screen visible, right?
Yeah, Shlok, yeah.
Okay. So, let's start. So, welcome everyone. I am Shlok, the speaker for today, and I will be taking a session on the topic Unlock Productivity at Work using Copilot. So, we'll be learning about what Copilot is, how you can incorporate Copilot in your daily life, and how you can effectively use Copilot using prompt engineering and the type of prompts. Okay, so moving forward to session agenda. What we will be learning today. We will be understanding how Microsoft Copilot works and how it boosts our productivity. We'll be learning to write effective AI prompts for better results, and we'll be exploring Copilot use cases such as coding, search engine optimization, learning, designing, and there are multiple more use cases, but we'll focus on these four for today's session. Also, we'll be building a stunning neon portfolio with Copilot so that we can learn about the integration of Copilot in Visual Studio Code. Also, in the end, we'll be wrapping up by unleashing creativity with Copilot and discussing what we have learned so far. Okay, so let's start. Moving on to the next slide. What actually is Microsoft Copilot? Let me explain. Microsoft Copilot is an AI assistant developed by Microsoft that integrates across their ecosystem of products and services. It combines the capability of large language models. For example, ChatGPT from OpenAI, GPT-4, 4o Mini, Gemini, etc., with Microsoft's application and data to provide users with AI-powered assistance. Now, what is Microsoft Copilot can be used for? There are many use cases for this. So, four of them I have mentioned, which are linked to Microsoft 365 apps. For example, let's go with the first one, quick drafting. It helps us to generate emails, documents, presentations with simple prompts. Also, data insights. We can get instant analysis and visualization of Excel data without formula knowledge. With just writing a prompt, providing the data, we can get the data insights. Third is meeting summaries. We can automatically capture key points and action items from Teams meeting. Also, the cross app assistance. We can seamlessly transfer information between different Microsoft applications, which I'll show forward. Okay. So what are actually prompts? Let's take some time to understand what prompts actually are. The command we are giving to the LLMs, large language models. A prompt is a structured or unstructured piece of input text provided to a large language model that serve as a cue, instruction, or question to guide the model's response. It acts as the primary means of communicating intent to the model, shaping the output based on the content, tone, and context of the input. The command you are giving to the large language model is known as the prompt, and it matters a lot for the output to be desirable, right? Prompts can be ranged from simple queries to complex instructions, role-based scenarios, multi-turn conversation, which we'll learn forward in the types of prompts, right? The effectiveness and clarity of a prompt directly influence the relevance, the accuracy, and quality of the model's response. So here I have mentioned a few points that they control the behavior of the model. They simulate different roles. For example, we can ask our AI to answer our query as a teacher, as a coder, as an assistant, depending upon the work, so that we can get a better response out of it. Also, in the third, I have written they customize outputs, the length, the tone, the format. For example, in the previous slide, as we has discussed about the email, we can set a limit of the number of words, the paragraphs in which we can set up the number of words, the paragraph, the length, etc., the tone, the format, whether it shall be replying, answering, etc. Okay. In the 4 point, we have they provide context for more accurate answers, right? So that's why prompt are very important. The art of prompting. So, effective prompt writing techniques I have mentioned in here. There are some core principles upon which one should work so that they can master the art of prompting. Let's discuss them one by one. So, in the first point, here we have be specific with clear instructions and expectations. You must define the aim or the goal of the task you want the LLM to perform. Okay, so you should be specific and clear and mention it in the starting of the prompt. Second, include relevant context that Copilot needs to understand. You should maintain an environment so that the LLM can work upon it and according to which it can answer your query. Okay. Third is the use of action verbs like summarize, analyze, create. That's a very important point so that we can directly communicate with the LLM regarding the query we want the answer to be. Okay. Fourth point is specify desired output format and length. As also mentioned previously, we must specify the format length so that the LLM can work upon it accordingly. Defining the tone and style. Tone and style matters a lot while you want the LLM to answer, because while writing a email or maybe a paragraph, many a times it's required to set up a tone and the style for the answer so that the answer becomes more relevant to the query. Okay. Avoid ambiguity, vagueness, then provide examples or constraint. Examples are very, very important so that the query can be more refined, the answer can be more refined and to the point. Because if you'll give examples, the LLM will firstly work upon the example, it will analyze the example and then answer the query. And constraints are also important so that between a boundary, the LLM can work and answer the query. Break down complex requests into smaller tasks. For example, it's a good point. We want to make a website using Microsoft Copilot, which we'll be making today in the forward session. If you want to make a website, there are multiple components of a website. For example, the navigation bar, the header, the footer, the hero section, the about section, and there are multiple sections like that. Okay. So instead of asking it to create the website at once, we can break it into smaller tasks, which are the sections which I just mentioned, so that we can create it effectively and can make changes effectively section wise. Okay. Also, indicate the level of detail or depth required. We must indicate the level of the detail or depth into which the answer we want, which we'll be looking forward in the session. Test and refine prompts for clarity and precision. These are the prompts for the core principles which are required to master the art of prompting. Moving forward to some examples. How good prompts lead to better result and save time, we'll be understanding with these examples as written below, and the difference between a basic and advanced prompting. So let's look at the first example. We are asking Microsoft Copilot to help with my email, but the Copilot is confused that whether the mail should be professional or casual, the mail is a response or a initiation message, and we are writing this to a client, so it shall be professional or not. Like in the strong one, I have written all the points. It should be professional, it should be a response, it is sending to a client, it is a declining mail to a project proposal. But in the first prompt, it is weak because we are not mentioning anything about the email we want, right? And in the second example, fix my spreadsheet. But again, there are a lot of mistakes in this prompt. We are not defining the spreadsheet, we are not providing the spreadsheet, and also not telling him about what to fix in the spreadsheet. Like here, I have written calculate the average sales for Q1. We are defining the columns, the rows, so that it becomes easier for the AI to fix it properly, like the regional offices and the highlights value below the target. It depends on the spreadsheet you are providing. Let's move forward to the tricks for advanced prompting with Copilot. There are major categories for prompting tricks. So let's discuss them one by one quickly so that you can move forward to the demo. First one is the role-based tricks. You can leverage expertise by assigning specific roles to the AI. Secondly, audience-focused tricks control complexity by specifying who the content is for, because always it is necessary to define the audience, because the maybe like I am giving the session to you, so I must know the level of the audience which is, and accordingly I must program or set up my session. So similarly, audience focus tricks, then format control tricks get output in the most useful structure for your needs, and then analytical perspective generate balanced and multidimensional analysis. Moving forward to iterative development tricks, break complex tasks into manageable steps. Like discussed previously, we must break down complex missions or complex tasks into smaller ones so that we can achieve it in a better way and easier way, and the things won't get messed up afterwards. Moving forward to example driven tricks. Show rather than tell what you want through the examples. Like I mentioned previously, examples are very important so that you can get a better output for your query. Reasoning process tricks, making the AI thinking visible for better understanding. So that was all for this, and now let's discuss about the format control prompting tricks. First one is the custom output structure. We can request the AI to present information in specific structure to match our needs, such as bullet points, numbered lists, tables, etc. For example, it's written here. Let's write a research summary first. Help me out, outline the key points, then we'll write each section step by step. And there are multiple examples like the draft review refine loop. Use an iterative process where the AI produces an initial draft, receive feedback, and then improves the output. So this is a sort of automation we are asking the AI to do. Multiple points are there, but we'll be moving forward. Okay. So next we have the analytical perspective for the prompting tricks. Like the multi-side argument generation, we can ask the AI to present both pros and cons to explore multiple sides. For example, first one is give me both the advantages and disadvantages of using AI in education. So let's just try to see the demo for this. For example, in the analytical perspective, I am asking the both perspective, like the advantages and disadvantage of the AI in education. So let's just open Copilot. Copilot is mostly installed in most of the modern PCs, but you can also just simply, if I'll go to Google, you can search Copilot and directly download it from the site and also access it through the web app, right? Going forward, let's just write this. Look, we have the answer in here. The old age question of pros and cons. Here's a quick overview of the advantages and disadvantages of AI in the education. So you can look at both the perspectives directly, as you have mentioned in the prompt, the advantages, disadvantages, pros and cons. Moving forward, the comparative analysis request comparison between multiple subjects of the same point, like the use cases, like we'll be discussing about the use cases further. For example, I have a prompt in here, compare Python and JavaScript in terms of performance, syntax, and typical use cases. So let's try this and look at the output. So you can see it gave us the answer properly in form of a table, like the Python, the JavaScript, and the three factors on which we wanted the answer to be. The performance, the syntax, and the use cases. Python is slower, JavaScript is often outperforms Python, etc. Moving on to the PPT further. Yeah, we have next the root cause exploration. If we want to go the answer to be in more depth, so we can use this technique of root cause exploration. For example, you can ask the AI to analyze and identify the root causes for something. Like let's look at this prompt. What are the root causes behind the decline in customer satisfaction scores over the last quarter? For this, we need to provide a data set and then we can test this prompt. Going forward, scenario evaluation. We can request evaluation of potential outcomes or strategies. Evaluate three possible strategies for launching a new product in a saturated market. So let's try this one. And it's always better to start a new chat if you are switching to different topics. For example, just for the demo purpose, I am using a single chat. I'll create a new one, but it's always preferable to create a new chat so that your ideas are well organized and LLMs can also answer it accordingly. Launching a new product in a saturated market, well thought strategies, and there are the three strategies which we wanted to know, like the differentiation through innovation, strategic branding and positioning, targeting a niche audience, etc. Right? Moving forward, we have the constraint based prompting tricks. As I also explained in the previous slide, the constraints are very important so that the answer can be within a boundary and the AI can work upon it, refer to the text or the thing in a constraint, in a word or character limit. Constrain the output length to suit perfect platforms, formats, or attention span. This helps generate concise content, especially for social media or titles. For example, summarize this article under 100 words. We always used to do, like when we use the chat GPT or copilot, we always ask to summarize the article under 100 words or 200 words and like that. So this is a good example for it. Tone and style restriction. As we looked previously in the example of the prompt of the email, it was asking us to reply in a professional tone. So here what tone and style restrictions refer to: specify tone, emotions, or style to match the context or brand voice. You can instruct the AI to be formal, humorous, poetic, persuasive, professional, etc. Write a product description in a playful and Gen Z tone. So here we need to mention the product again. Going forward, time and resource constraints. Ask the AI to provide solutions or plan assuming limited time, budget, or resources. This is useful for real world scenario planning. For example, plan 1 day corporate training session with a limited budget of 500. Structural or content boundaries. Instruct the AI to avoid certain topics or format or follow strict rules like not using technical jargon or including only verifiable facts. For example, writing a beginner's guide to investing without using any financial jargon. So let's test this one and let's see what the output is. Investing can feel overwhelming at first, but it simplified for us without any complicated jargons. It gave us a roadmap for starting, like build a safety net, think long term, diversify, and refer to the prompt which we gave. Let's move forward. Um, okay, let me just check if any of the slides is left. Yeah, one of the slides is left, which is the role based prompt technique. It is one of the most important tricks one must know. And the first one is expert persona adaptation. Like I told, that we can ask the LLM to be in the shoes of one of the person and then answer the query. For example, act as an experienced data scientist and help me interpret these user and engagement metrics. Or we can, using a UX designer approach, we can evaluate this website interface and suggest improvement. We can provide any website and can ask LLM to identify and analyze the website so that we can make the website's interface better and ask for improvements. Yeah. And yeah, we have one more slide left, which is the audience focused prompting tricks, according to which define the knowledge level of your intended audience to control the complexity of the response. For example, I have a very nice prompt in here which says explain quantum computing algorithms to someone with basic programming knowledge but no physics background. So let's just try this one. And we can see that it explained us what quantum computing actually is in a very easy and better way. Basic idea of quantum computing: in classical computing, bits represent zeros and ones, and it explained us with the very root cause or very scratch method. Let's move forward to designing with Copilot and AI. Before that, okay. So we have the next segment of the session, which is exploring Copilot use cases such as in coding, SEO, learning, and designing, which we'll discuss. Most of them are technical, but I'll try to cover up all more, the use cases which are necessary in day-to-day life. For example, the slide one says coding with Copilot, automation of repetitive tasks. Copilot accelerates development by auto-completing repetitive code blocks such as boilerplate, class templates, and commonly used functions. This frees up developers to focus on logic and problem solving. Just a second. Okay. Generate a Python function for user authentication, including input validation and error handling. So, what did we understand from this? We understood that we can ease the repetitive tasks by automating them from the copilot using the prompts. For example, if we want to make a website, we want a boilerplate code for it, then we want to start designing the website using CSS or any other language. We can easily do this by generating a boilerplate template, which we'll be doing today in the demo session. And after this, if we'll just copy this and try to get an answer for this, let's just make a new chat for the Python one and see. It created a code for us for the hashing and security, and we can directly incorporate this code into our project and directly use this. So that's what can help us going forward to real-time code suggestions. Imagine we are working on a project, and during the project we want some real-time code suggestions. For example, we want to change something, but we are not getting the key to change that, or we are not knowing how to do that. We can easily ask Copilot to do the same. Copilot provides real-time code completion based on natural language comments or partial codes, so which will be exploring through the VS Code extension also. For example, if I'll just do this and just paste this, so it will help us to create a REST API route in Express for the user registration, and we can directly use this in VS Code. Learning through just a second, learning through suggestions. By watching AI generated suggestions, beginner can learn syntax, logic, and best practices in their IDE, enabling a just-time learning approach. For example, we have a prompt in here: write a recursive function in C++ to calculate the Fibonacci series. Let's test this one. And in the meanwhile it creates, let's just go to our desktop and let's just create a folder, maybe naming code, and let's just open it with Microsoft Visual Code. Okay, and let's just create an cpp file for testing the code, right? And if I'll go in here, I have the code ready with the explanation of it, like the base case which is required for to come out of the loop, the recursive call, and the output. If I'll just go and copy this, you can copy it from here, check, yeah. And if I'll just simply run it, yeah, it asks me to enter the number of terms I want the Fibonacci series to be in. So if I give it 5, we can see the Fibonacci series is there in front of us. So we can use it for learning, for coding, and everything, right? Going forward, support for multiple languages. Copilot adapts to various programming language, making it ideal for full stack or polyglot developers working across different environments. For example, let's test this one for the Go language. But one of the best things which you are able to see is I am directly switching from one language to another in the same chat, right? Like here I am talking about Python, then I am talking about JavaScript, then I am talking about C++, then I am talking about Golang. But if our prompt is that much advanced and clear, then there is no issue in using one single chat for all the prompts, right? So you can see there, it gave us the code for the same and also explained us that what are the packages which are important to import and the handler function, etc. Going forward to next slide. Yeah. Slide 2 is about the SEO with AI tools. As you must be knowing what SEO is, search engine optimization, to which helps us to find our site when we, like in simple terms, when we try to Google our site and we want it to be uh, optimized in the search engine, it helps us to do the same. So we use different types of keywords, we use SEO techniques. Like one of the simplest example for this is using the H1, H2, H3 tag, in which H1 is the heading which gives us the priority, right? So it can be an example for this. But what if we want to automate this process and not go deep into it without coding and all? We can do this with the help of Copilot again. So let's read this. AI tools assist in integrating target keywords naturally into titles, meta description, body content for improving the search engine visibility so that our site is more visible when we Google it, right? Or use Microsoft Bing for the same. So let's see this. Write a blog intro using the keyword AI in education in the first 30 words. So let's just test it. For this, I'll just create a new chat because we have a new slide in here. And yeah, here's a possible blog intro. In today's world, fast-paced AI in education is revolutionizing learning experiences, empowering student and educators. So it can help us in the search engine optimization. We can directly use this code in our site, and we can also ask to improve it. So it will help us in the SEO itself. Technical SEO snippets. As you must be knowing about the meta descriptions, how much important they are in the search engine optimization, we can ask AI to quickly generate SEO related HTML elements like the meta tags, the open graph tags, or schema. For example, we have the PWA, which is the progressive web apps. To enable this, we need to make a service file in the JSON, and we also want to edit the manifest.json file, right? The service worker and the manifest. So we can ask the AI to do the same by using the prompt. Okay. So here we have create a meta title and description for a bakery website. So let's just try this one. And yeah, it gave us the meta title, indulge in freshly baked delights at our bakery name. We can also add the location so that the SEO is more specified. And for example, if someone searches about bakery or stuff near our location, so our website will be shown first in the Google, or our location will be shown first in the Google. Discover the irresistible charm of freshly baked bread cakes and pastries. So this can be example of a meta description in which the search engine refers to for the search engine optimization. Going forward, we have the competitor based content suggestion. Prompting AI to analyze or imitate top ranking competitors can help tailor content more effectively. For example, generate frequently asked questions for a product page similar to top ranking e commerce site. For example, I want to make a section in my site regarding the FAQs. So I can use this prompt to get an idea about the frequently asked questions in the top ranking e commerce site. So this can be an example. For example, what payment methods do you accept? How long does shipping takes? And what are the ways in which we can return or exchange our order? And do you offer international shipping or not in the various locations, right? And how do I track my order? These are some of the questions for the same. Let's move forward. Content localization and tone adjustment. AI also help us to rewrite content in multiple tones or languages to target different demographics or demographic regions, improving SEO reach. For example, translate this landing page into Spanish while keeping persuasive tones. You must have seen in multiple websites like there is option for changing the translating the site itself in the page, right? So people do this so that they can reach different audience of different countries, because obviously there is a change in language, culture, etc. So to cater that thing, they mostly do this and translate, right? Let's move forward. Yeah, learning with Copilot. Code comprehension and explanation. Copilot can explain code snippets allowing learners to better understand the logic and purpose of behind each line. For example, let's understand this with a small scenario. Let's take an example of a small developer who is starting with his coding or his or her coding journey, and he wanted to understand a GitHub repository or a code base. So for that, he or she can simply just post the code base into Microsoft Copilot and can ask Copilot to just explain and interpret it. For example, this. Let's ask the AI to do this. And yeah, here we can see in simple terms, Python list comprehensions are a concise way to create the list. Here we have the code for creating the list, and for this, the list name and how we make the list in the square brackets itself. And it also gave us multiple examples like this expression, etc. Going forward, interactive learning by doing. Students can prompt Copilot to solve programming problems, as we discussed the example of C and C++, right? So we can also do this. For example, solve this lead code problem. For example, someone is there who is doing DSA and is stuck somewhere. So can just use this prompt. For example, the solve this lead code problem using a hash map or any other type of problem. And we can also suggest AI, for example, answer this problem in this way or give me this type of solution. So we can use that strategy to do the same. Exposure to multiple approaches. AI may suggest multiple ways to solve the same problem, helping learners compare and choose the best fit for a given use case. For example, implement a sorting algorithm in both recursive and iterative style. Let's just use Copilot again to answer this query. And it gave us the answer so quick, saving our time and automating the work. Recursive style and an iterative style, which is also known as the bubble sorting in DSA. So these were the different types of learning approaches. Let me just check. Yeah, we were there. Implement a sorting algorithm. The last one is minimal setup learning. No need for external search or tutorial. Student can learn directly with the coding environment, minimizing the content switching. So we can directly go to this. We can start VSC. We can create a chat from here. If you don't have the extension, you can even download this. And if you are uh, new to VSC, you can just download VS Code and this will be available directly. So you can just open a chat, maybe you can configure it, and you can ask the AI to do the same. Here you can also add the context, can write the prompt like we were writing in this Copilot app, and can also refer to which file the AI should refer to. Okay, so you can just put the reference. Can also chat with the extension, start a voice chat, can change the models even like the Claude, the Gemini 2.0, GPT 4.1, GPT 4.0, etc. Right. So let's just move forward the presentation. Okay. This was about the SQL query. And slide 4 is designing with Copilot and AI. Rapid UI layout generation. Just a second. Yes. We can ask Copilot to generate basic like HTML and CSS structures for components like buttons, navbar, cards, speeding up for the front end development. In the next few slides, we'll be creating a neon website and you can see the interpretation or the implementation of this HTML and CSS structure which we'll be creating using AI. Examples is create a responsive footer with social media links. So let's just try to do this, or maybe just make a new chat for this. I haven't mentioned much of the things in this responsive footer, so maybe the style can be a little offset, but we'll try for the same. Yeah, and here I have my VS Code. You can create a index.html and can directly paste the code. You can view it through live server. And you can see this. We do not have the CSS right here, so I'll just try to enter the CSS also. For example, the style.css. In the index, let's just write the boilerplate first so that the site is visible properly. And if we'll go here, copy the code like this and copy the CSS like this. And if we'll just link our CSS to our HTML with the link attribute style.css, and if you don't know, we have an extension called the live server which helps us to view the HTML documents directly. Let's just open it and you can see this. Here we have our section. So we'll be making the site out of it later on. And let's just move to the PPT again. Yes. Component reusability and scalability. We can design systems can be standardized using Copilot by generating consistent component code across pages or product. Right? we saw the example just again. You can generate a reusable card component using Tailwind CSS. Okay, there are multiple frameworks for CSS like Bootstrap and Tailwind. We can also incorporate that regarding the same. Collaborative prototyping. When paired with tools like Figma, plugins, or image generation models, AI helps designers to iterate faster with content aligned prototypes. For example, generate a placeholder text for the landing page targeting at freelancers. So we can generate placeholder text, which also matters a lot while creating demo website or prototype websites. Bridging designing and code. Copilot helps designers who code bring visual mockups to life by providing real-time editable implementations of design ideas. Example, convert this wireframe description into React component. For example, we have a HTML, CSS component and code, and if we want it to be run on a Node.js server in kind of a React component, so we can create components out of it and can modify and just transfer our code from simple HTML and CSS to React, and can use Express or maybe Node for the same. So that was all. Let's move forward to building a neon theme portfolio website with a Copilot. So this will be a hands-on session also. So you must be thinking how we can create a site so quickly or instantly with just using a single prompt. So here is the prompt which will be required. So I have already written this. Create a stunning, fully responsive personal portfolio website with a dark neon aesthetic using only HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in a single file. So we'll be creating all of this using Copilot in a single file. And here I have the specifications for the website. For example, a neon style nav bar, a hero section, a about section, a project section, skill section, etc. So moving forward, let's just create the website. I have closed all the files, and I'll just create another file name main.html. And here you can see it says press Ctrl plus I to ask code to do something. So we can directly ask Copilot to create the code. If I'll do Ctrl plus I and copy paste the prompt and ask GPT-4o to create the code, it will take some time, but it will give us a good boilerplate code to start with. As you can see on the right side, it has started to create the code along with the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in the same file. Let's just wait and look. It has already created the code within seconds. If I'll just accept it and try to view the site, you can see it has created a basic website for us, which is not looking that good, but I have created another version for the site using the different prompt, which I'll just showcase it in a second. If we'll go to maybe professionals, and yeah, just a second. I have the neon site already prepared, which was made using the same code, but if we'll use different models, there is a change in the website which we create. For example, if I'll open this, I have used the same prompt from the site, and if I'll just open it using the live server, look, it's something like this. So we can also ask Copilot to make changes into this code. If we look at it, for example, I'll just open a new chat from here, a fresh chat, and if I'll ask like add more CSS animations to the code, which I can incorporate directly. So it can simply work upon it, give us the code, we'll add it, and we can add more animations to the same. For example, okay, it gave us a lot of animations, and yeah, okay. So we'll go to the end of the code for creating a style tag, and we'll just copy paste it directly. And now if we look at our site, there are more changes like this animation, project 1, project 2, project 3, which is the project section. After that we have the skill section, the contact me section, which is somewhere off, but we can correct this using CSS because we just wanted to create a portfolio sites boilerplate code so that we can get started. We can change our name and everything from here. If I'll just show you, if we'll just scroll a bit to this section, you can see there you can directly change into the code like, hi, I am Shlok Bhardwaj. And yes, you can see there it made the change, and you can do more changes like maybe putting a picture in here, changing the code directly using Copilot. Copilot also helps us to make changes in the errors which we get. For example, if there is any error I am getting, if I'll just try to maybe, okay, the code is perfectly fine, so there is not much error in it. But if we have an error, we have an option to find the error and help to rectify it using Copilot directly. So let's move on to the PPT again. You can use this prompt to create a site and make changes to it. Next one, let's just wrap up all of our session, what we learned today, what was everything we learned, and right, so that you can also start your journey with Copilot and also automate your day-to-day task. We learned about AI as a creative partner. Copilot isn't just for code, it helps us to fuel creativity across different domains, whether it's a web development, content creation, problem solving, etc. Accelerating productivity, AI tools help streamline repetitive tasks, reducing time spent on mundane works, and give you more time to focus on what actually matters: creativity, innovation, and problem solving. Collaborative technology with Copilot and similar AI tools, you're not just working alone. It's like having a co developer, co creator, or assistant who is always there to guide and assist you. Learning and growth. AI empowers you to learn faster by offering suggestions, teaching through examples, optimizing workflows across various site and project. The future is now. By embracing AI, you open up limitless possibilities for improving your work in any field. The tools are here and the potential is endless. So start exploring your creativity. Before ending the presentation, let's just look at our code base again, which we have used to create the site. And yeah, I have corrected the code. Okay. And that's what I wanted to discuss at the end. Once you have created the boilerplate code, you can directly make changes into the code using AI again by opening a chat, referring to the line even, the line in which you wanted to make the change. Because it is directly accessing your code, you can just give it the line in which you want to make the change or the element in which you want to make the change, and you can create a site like this within seconds. So yeah, that was all for today's session. If you have any questions, please let me know. So Danshu, are you there? Please check if there are any questions. Else we'll just wrap it up. I have also stopped sharing the screen. Yes. Okay, looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Shlok, for this insightful session. And thanks to all the attendees and the viewers who joined us for this exciting Season of Agents session. Now it's your time to discover, build, and shape the future together. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Shlok.